What is up, everybody? Chris Curtis here for the Rockwall Sportscenter Yellow Jacket and Hawk Update. Of course, joined by my partners in crime, Billy the Wild Thing Quinn, and of course, Stan the Preacher Man.
Wow,
Britton, you like that?
You're a preacher man, and I'm like, you got to save me.
It's
I'm the wild man.
It's the wild man.
No, it's not. It's a lost cause.
And of course, James joining us from behind camera. Of course, welcome into the final Rockwall Sportscenter update of the regular season for your Rockwall Heath Hawks and Rockwall Yellow Jackets. Let's dive right into it. Of course, we did have one football game last week. Of course, we had a lot of other events going on as well. But first things first, let's dive in to the Rockwall Heath Hawks. Of course, they finished up their season strong against North Mesquite, 34-21. Stan, a great game for Rockwall Heath to close out their 2019 campaign. Of course, first-year head coach here for Rockwall Heath. Of course, a lot of fun things happening at Rockwall Heath that's going in the right direction for Coach Spradlin. But talked about what went right on Thursday night for the Rockwall Heath Hawks, and what went right to close that season out at 5-5.
Yeah, Hawks win 34-21 over the Stallions, and just another great night for the Hawks as they come out, get a fast start. And the Stallions, believe it or not, I mean, they did not go quietly, but the Hawks were able to take care of business, and Hoover finishes up really, really strong, has 182 yards on the night and a 4-touchdown performance. He finishes up the season, his last 2 weeks, 362 yards and 9 touchdowns. Just a great last couple of weeks for Josh. And the Hawks are able to finish up 5-5, like we talked about last week. It's tough that you're 3 possessions from being a 7-3 ball club, and probably the outright third place. But young football team, lots to build on, new culture, and some kids who had some really great performances for the year. Josh finishes officially with 2,926 yards. It gives him the single season best record for passing yardage, and 32 touchdowns, also a single season record. Jaden Jones finishes the third 1,000-yard receiving campaign ever in school history. He's now the single season leader in yardage at 1,074. He's also the single season receiving touchdown record holder at 14 touchdowns. And just some great things to build upon, some great things to be able to take care of and put their name in the record books, finish a 5-5 season. And what was great, after the game, we were able to talk to several of the seniors, and the prevailing theme for the seniors is we got to be a part of rebuilding what Heath is going to look like in the days or in the years ahead and seasons ahead. And so these seniors really took it upon themselves to take it personally, to change the culture, to change the attitude, and to really change the outlook for Heath Hawk football in the years and seasons ahead.
Absolutely. Talk about Josh Hoover coming in here as a sophomore. Really, the last quarterback that I can think of that really came close to these type of records was Jordan Hoy a couple of years ago. Of course, he is playing some D1 football himself right now. So,
right.
But talk about just the nice shot in the arm for this team that Josh Hoover has provided. Of course, I know that there were stats all over the place. I think my yardage came in 6 yards short to what you just said.
Yep.
And I know Dallas News has, I think, 150 yards shorter than what you said. So I trust the stat man over here, of course, with you guys. But just talk about how impressive it was for him to come in here.
We know Dallas News is good about attributing yards to the wrong people.
They do.
Yes.
They do.
We had a couple of kids who I don't even know that they were on our roster, but Dallas News has them putting up yardage for Rockwall Heath.
So how many did you get this year? Do we know? Or?
I think at like 4,500 passing yards.
I mean, my gosh, it's all over the place.
Like averaging about 450 a game. It's awesome. I mean, I have to jump in. Billy's teaching all the Yellow Jackets how to do their thing.
You got to start somewhere.
Start
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but no, Josh, just a great shot in the arm for the Hawks, and sophomore quarterback who has a really great season. He ends up 29-26, 32 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. In a season where a lot of things didn't go the way of the Hawks, but Josh was able to really put up some great numbers, lead the team, be a captain, wire to wire for the team, and he's coming back. I mean, you've got 2 more years of Josh Hoover at quarterback for the Hawks, and so the whole foundation, the whole culture, is really turned in the right direction, and you have 23 underclassmen with varsity starting experience now. They're going to return 9 starters on offense next year. Really incredible to think about. You lose Jaden Jones, you lose Kenny Rione, the center, and other than that, you've got 9 players that are going to start on that side of the football next year. And even talking with Coach Spradlin this morning, they're excited. I mean, they're already hitting the weight room, they're ready to go, and we've got about 270 days, and it'll be the 2020 season for the Heath Hawks, and a lot to build on there. But defensively, the same thing, looking at 6 to 7 players coming back with varsity starting experience. And so some really exciting things. Of course, I saw Sprad this morning at the early signing day ceremony, and the first thing he says, he goes, I really would have liked to be a little busier this week and playing football on Friday night. But not to be the case. But nothing to be upset about as far as this season's concerned, and a lot of really good pieces to build upon.
And he was right at the volleyball game on Friday night. Turnaround season's over, then he goes right to volleyball, of course, the next night. So what's the one thing that Coach Spradlin's going to want to obviously saying the same thing to me on Friday night, saying, I wish I was a little busier essentially right now and planning for some football this week. What's the one thing you take away from this season that Hawk fans need to take away that Coach Spradlin is kind of preaching as far as what we look forward to build on in 2020 and where we go from here?
Yeah, he's looking at right now 5 years ahead. He's talking about this sophomore class that has 16 sophomores on the varsity. He's talking about what will be a really strong freshman class that comes in next year. Not just the Kane student athletes that are coming up, but several of the kids who live on the south side who are Utley Wolves right now, who will come over to Heath next year. There's a lot of good pieces to build upon, and Sprad's excited about it. Talking to him this morning, he's saying, you don't just have a group of juniors next year. You've got a group of freshmen that could put a few kids on varsity as well, and you've got kids that could be 3- and 4-year letter winners on varsity with this class that's coming up. And so, lots of things to build upon. That he's not just looking at, and obviously they do want to win now. They want to put marks in the win column, as many of them as they can. But it's let's build on what's coming up, up in the lower ranks, and it's going to be that feeder system for Heath in the next 4, 5, 6 years. There's a lot to build upon, and really not just football. A lot of kids in multiple sports that are really talented and are going to change the complexion of Heath athletics.
Absolutely. A lot to look forward to over at Heath High School and the rest of 2019, of course, for 2020. Nice little transition from Rockwall Heath to Rockwall, talking about sophomore quarterbacks. Felt like we talk about them every single week. They're really only separated by 30, 40 yards for the 2019 season. I know Locke had, I think, 4 more touchdowns than Hoover on the year. Of course, had a nice target all season long, of course, with the leading receiver in the state of Texas as well. So, Billy, bit of a quiet week for Rockwall. Of course, that's expected with a off week. But, of course, you find out who your first-round opponent is going to be to start the 2019 playoffs. Of course, the Chase to AT&T Stadium in late December, right before Christmas. That's where the ultimate goal is for Rockwall High School. The path is now set. Mm-hmm. Talk about who we have coming up first and what we're going to be looking at.
Well, we're going to be playing Harker Heights, as they ended up 4th place in District 12-6A. They lost to Shoemaker. It was basically between, who was going to lose that game. If it was going to be Shoemaker or Harker Heights, the loser would come get the reward of coming up to Wilkerson Sanders on Friday night and take on the Yellow Jackets. There was a slight chance that Belton could slip in there, but they were going to have to beat Midway, and that was over pretty quickly. And so then after we saw the Midway score over Belton early, we knew, as we were kind of scoreboard watching, that it was going to be the loser between Shoemaker and Harker Heights. And Shoemaker won that one, and so here come the Knights of Harker Heights. It'll be the first time that we've played them in the playoffs. We've played Belton before from this district, Cuppers Cove a number of times. It seems like it was always Cuppers Cove.
Day, yep.
Yeah. But it will be Harker Heights for the first time. Played them in baseball a few years ago and shocked the world on that playoff win a few years ago when Harker Heights was ranked and going well. And Rockwall came in and took 2 out of 3 from them in the by-district round. But it'll be the first time we play them in football. And it'll be a challenge, as the record is deceiving. They're 4-4 in District 12-6A. and finished 4-6 overall on the season. But don't let that deceive you, because the Yellow Jackets have been there before. When they took on the Woodlands, they were only 5-5 that year, and if I remember right, we're 4-3 in district play, and I know the Woodlands looked past them, and that got them burned. So don't let the record deceive you. There's a lot of good competition there. You have Temple that won that district at 8-1, and Midway also went 8-1, but Temple was the I think. Well, let me take that back. No, I'm trying to remember. I think Midway has to go out to play Longview, so I think Midway will be going out there. And so anyway, it'll be a bit of a challenge for the Rockwall Yellow Jackets as they take on Harker Heights, and it's good to have another game and be going on Friday night here. And it's great to be at Wilkerson Sanders, get a big crowd and perfect football weather, and so we're excited about it. I know the players are excited about it. It's been 2 weeks since they've had a chance to go out and play, and I get to talk to Braden a number of times there in the studio at the school, and he comes in and gives me a little bit of input on what's going on there, and they're ready to go.
Of course, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say the 4-6 record might be a little deceiving for some people, especially I've seen on social media. Well, 4-6, but once you get into this playoff atmosphere, you get in this playoff bracket. Really, that was going to be my example. Was when Rockwall went in at 5-5, and Mesquite Horn did it at last year. I think their record was 3-7 going in, and they went a couple rounds deep. So once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. We know that in every single sport, anything's possible. So what does Rockwall need to do to not look ahead to what looms in that second round potentially?
Well, first of all, I want to correct myself. It's Midway's playing Lee, and then Temple is playing
Temple's
Longview.
heading to Longview, yep.
I just know that nothing else is mentioned but Harker Heights since they found out. And I talked to Coach Webb about this last night, and said, no, this is the focus. We don't worry about second, third round. We know it could be up ahead in the later rounds, but right now it is Harker Heights is all they're talking about. They don't even want them to mention names of any other teams that you could be playing, because this is you don't do that unless you take care of business this Friday night. So it's just, and that's where I think Coach Webb does an outstanding job. If you look back at Rockwall's scores in the first round against first round opponents, it's pretty lopsided. Yeah, it's pretty lopsided. They Port Copper's Cove, I don't think they've ever held us to less than 50, and they've played them 3 times, I believe, in the first round. And so last year against Belton, they scored over 50, and so let's see, and so I know that Coach Webb keeps them focused and ready to go. And even games like against the Woodlands, where they ended up beating the Woodlands by 11, if I remember right, and dominated in that game, and that was a game they were supposed to lose. So
it was 9.
Was 9? They won by 9.
Remember, I had to eat all the crow.
Oh, that's right. So you remembered that.
I do.
I was hoping Stan would take that bait. And so anyway, so it was a very, very. It's always an impressive performance by the Yellow Jackets in the first round, even back in the early days when they beat Naaman Forest pretty handily at Allen, and so I don't have any doubts that this team will be focused and ready to take on the Knights.
This is 7 straight years of playoff football for Rockwall. What has it done for the community as far as now Rockwall being known as a football school again? It's nice to have.
Well, what it's done is people don't complain anymore that they have to change their Thanksgiving plans. I remember early on, literally getting complaints. What we gotta go somewhere? And so go ahead and don't. Of
course, this year you got to be area champs to play on Thanksgiving.
And
that adds to the flavor.
Yeah, but previous years you had to also, and so you got to tell Grandma this is just in pencil right now. We're not sure if these plans are gonna stick, but I think that's been the overall attitude with the community now. It's expected. You know that you're going to be in the playoffs, and I know that when Rockwall, those few times that they've been, needing to get a win late or have somebody else win to get in, it is kind of shaking everybody a little bit. Not used to that, and so that's been very seldom. But it's just that's the attitude right now. Is you're expected to be in the playoffs. There's no doubt you will be. I also think that people know that now the non-district does not mean anything other than seeing how you stack up against other teams. Rockwall has had a number of seasons where they've had a less than impressive non-district record, but that's because of the schedule.
If even a win.
Yeah, exactly. They've gone winless a couple times, but that's okay. Yeah. It helps them in the long run, and that's Coach Webb's plan is we need to see how we stack up against the big boys, and if we don't stack up, well, we got a season to fix that, and let's go and be peaking at the end of the season, which they do. And that's I can't remember a year that this team was not going up as the playoffs started. Coach Webb is really good at that. I know one of his plans every year in practice, because I ask him, how do you keep the players from getting, kind of lackadaisical and it gets stale? And he changes up practice. He changes up things. He brings the food trucks in, or he'll have something different. They may move it somewhere. Even like when we had the really, really cold weather on Monday, Braden came in, and I was like, wait, because that was the coldest I'd ever been. I'm like, You didn't use the indoor? And he goes, no, Coach Webb said, hey, we plan on playing deep in the playoffs, and it's going to get cold. Let's use it. Let's use it. So they played in the cold weather, or they practiced in the cold weather. And so I love that. And that's just the attitude right now. We plan on playing 6 more games. That's what you do. I don't care who's in front of us. Let's go play.
Well, hopefully Jerry closes that roof in December, late December for that game. That would be nice.
I think he will.
I think he might.
Yeah,
he might.
He will.
Of course, kickoff temperature as of now looks about to be about 39 degrees. Take note of the kickoff time. It's 30 minutes earlier than a normal football game. It's going to be essentially a Thursday night type of game at 7 o'clock this Friday night here at Wilkerson Sanders. Of course, lots of exciting times happening here for Rockwall High School. If you want to purchase those tickets for that game, you cannot purchase them online. You have to go to either the Rockwall High School box office, the RISD athletic office, or at the gate for $10. No parking passes, no online purchases. So we're having to repeat that a lot for people to. I know people are asking about playoff tickets. The city is excited, Billy, for Rockwall
they
football.
Are. And I think when you have this last weekend bye, this last week bye, it gets people.
You start itching
antsy.
again.
Yes, you get really antsy. You don't know. We kind of enjoy it. It is a nice break for I think everybody, and I think the team and the coaches will tell you it stinks until you get there, and then once you have it, okay, this isn't bad. We get the break.
Take a breath, and
right.
6 more.
But if you had your druthers, you would like to have that
Sure.
break in the middle of the year just to kind of heal up a little bit and get ready for a few big games coming up. But now that it's here, embrace it, and the community has. They're ready to go, and of course, these Lady Jackets, the Lady Jackets volleyball team, kind of kept us occupied while that was going on.
Well, I was about to say, not only are Rockwall Heath and Rockwall football schools, they're volleyball schools as well. Of course, the Rockwall Heath Hawks were able to be bi-district champions. The Lady Jackets added an area championship to the cabinet as well, along with bi-district. Stan, let's switch back to you about the Lady Hawks and their season in general. Of course, Maggie Younger, over and over again, that second-round curse just stings you. I know she was very upset. The girls were very upset on Friday night after losing that tough matchup. Of course, they're going down 0-2, fighting back 2-2, and then losing eventually, taking the lead in that third set. I believe it was 8-4, and then they were not able to hang on after that. Unfortunately, that second-round bug just sticks around.
It does.
And not able to close the deal on Friday.
Maggie picked the seeding the way she did so that they could get the rematch against a Saxe team that they played very, very close earlier in the season. Of course, went to 5 in the season. They lose in the 5th set, 18-16. And then, on this one, they come out, first two sets, they're down 24-13 in both sets. And it was a very different looking team. And as Maggie does so well, they made some great adjustments between the second and third set, come out, win 25-20 and 25-22, and then they lose 15-9 in that 5th set. And after going up 8-4, really they were up 5-0 at one point, and get up 8-4, and then end up losing eventually 15-9 to a very good Saxe team. I had a good conversation with Maggie earlier this week about it. And, she said we had the game plan, we knew what we wanted to do. She was trying to get up big in that 5th set if they went to 5, and her 3 servers in those 3 rotations did very, very well, like they had done. In fact, early in the first round, those three servers had gotten them 22 service points just between the 3 of them, and so just an excellent setup for Maggie. But Saxe was too much to be reckoned with. And they fall in 5, and that second round bug hangs around yet again. And so it's not all is not lost. There's quite a few players coming back next year for Maggie. She does have a very young team, a couple of freshmen starting on this team. She had a player in Sydney Morey that has been out for 2 years with significant knee injury, comes back from that and plays lights out for Maggie this year. Had to bring up a setter from the JV because of an injury to Becca Kelly. And so, lots of pieces moving around, but she is very excited about what's ahead for Lady Hawks volleyball. And you said it a couple of weeks ago, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Maggie. They win, I know it's a co-district championship on paper, but what we talked about, Maggie and I talked about, is that the Yellow Jackets can call it a district championship on their campus, and we'll call it a district championship on our campus. And, and on paper, it'll be a co-championship. But 8 straight district championships for Maggie and the Lady Hawks. And, in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year, they did see some good success and really made a run at an area championship, coming up just a little bit short.
Yeah, and the great Craig Musser and I were talking on Friday night. Of course, we both kind of were witnessing what was happening as far as the Lady Hawks just looked uninspired. And the first two sets, they just kind of were struggling. And then all of a sudden, the light bulb goes on, and all of a sudden you're like, this team can win.
Right.
And so what does that do for this program, especially like the ones that are coming back to build on this success? They are a young team, to go out there and say, we want to. I know the players were saying 2 weeks ago, they want to end this curse. They want to be done with it. They got, unfortunately, with it for another year. But what does that do for the motivation for the rest of the year, and then into next season saying, we want to get this done?
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to have to be the mindset is you play on the talent that they have. You have the junior Bree Kelly, who will be back next year, the University of Florida commit. You have her little sister, Becca, who will be a sophomore next year, who's been out with a foot injury. And those two girls give you significant strength at the middle blocker position and on the outside. Maury is coming back. You have Danielle Prado coming back. There are several players that can be game changers for the Lady Hawks. And if there's one thing that we know Maggie Younger knows how to do, and it's put a good volleyball team on the floor. And she will have them in a position to defend that district championship, to look at number 9, and to break the second round curse. And she has the athletes to do it. And she knows she does. It's just a matter of putting them in the right position to be successful.
An annoying second round. If they could just get past that, might be a little brighter side. I don't know what it is, but
we talked about it mid season. Just being in Region 2, being in Dallas Fort Worth volleyball, where you have to beat Prosper to get to the regional championship. You have a team that they're nationally ranked. You've got the Lovejoys of the world that are always up there in the state rankings, and those are Frisco Liberty had an All-American and gets beat by Lovejoy.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I think and we talk about this, if we were in Region 1, maybe a little further south, or we're a little further west, or we get down into maybe Region 3, where you're playing Central Texas and not having to play in a metropolitan area with the benefit of so many select clubs and traveling teams and those kinds of things. It really does make a huge difference when it comes to having to play out of these elite teams just to get to the regional championship and then on into the state tournament.
Absolutely, and you switch gears. The first-year head coach Travis Ferguson of the Lady Jackets, a phenomenal season for the Lady Jackets. They sweep round 1. They get to round 2 on Friday night against McKinney Boys. Swept that one. The mojo was high over at Rockwall High School. Unfortunately, Tuesday night that season did come to an end. Of course, Plano West was able to sweep Rockwall, but Rockwall did not go down quietly. Of course, all 3 sets were relatively close. Great matchup for Rockwall. It's kind of a measuring stick to show where this program, how far they've come and where they are at this moment. Disappointing loss on Tuesday, obviously, but nothing to hang your hats on if you're a Lady Jacket.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's just an incredible job by Coach Ferguson, Coach Buchanan. They're taking these girls. First of all, you got by district, and they go against Ellison, and they take care of business there, and I think it was expected to do that, and they did. Then you go in the area round, and it's like, okay, now you got to take on McKinney Boyd. They get the little switch here with the number 2 choice and all that stuff. You're like, oh, you're going to send us on the number 1 path. All right. Well, then let's go beat McKinney Boyd, because Boyd had swept Rockwall 2 previous times in that season, both 3-0. Rockwall hadn't won a set against them, and they sweep them in the area round and dominated them. It was a great matchup. Game 2 was a little bit closer, as it looked like that was going to be where Boyd was going to make its move. Rockwall holds them off, and then they win Game 3 and move on. And it was a dominating performance by the Lady Jackets. And I know for a fact that they weren't looking at, now we got Plano West. Gosh, at least we've done good, and that's fine. Well, they planned to beat them, and they took it to them. I mean, it was a sweep from Plano West, as you mentioned, but 25-22, 25-19, then 25-20 were the 3 games or sets there for the Lady Jackets, and in all 3, Rockwall had leads. It just was the consistency, and I talked with Coach Ferguson today. It's the the self-inflicted errors. You cannot do that against a team like Plano West. They're number 4 in the state, number 3 in the area, and these girls. I mean, this girl Presley that's going to be going to. If I remember right, DePaul. They had players that are going to Indahi, who's going to be going to UCLA, I believe. Another going to Miami. It's incredible this team that Plano West has put together, and that the Lady Jackets had leads in it. I mean, they were up 8-2 in the second game, and had a nice lead in game 3. It looked like, okay, here's our rally, but then it goes back and forth and eventually drop at 25-20. But again, what a great season. Congratulations to Coach Ferguson, his staff, and those girls. What a fun ride it was for us in the playoffs. And to see, and thank you to all the Lady Jacket fans out there, all the Rockwall people that came out, a huge crowd. It was a great atmosphere last night over there at Frisco, where, of course, Plano West had a nice crowd. Rockwall was the home team and did a great job, getting that side filled up over there on the home side. Wonderful atmosphere. It really inspired the girls. And, man, the thing I loved about watching this team, and we've seen this before, but this team with Coach Ferguson, he really keeps it loose. He reminds these girls that I understand there's pressure, but have fun. And these girls, that game against McKinney Boyd, or that match against McKinney Boyd in game 2 when Boyd was rallying there, and the girls are laughing and smiling as it's going on. You could tell that it's just like, man, isn't it great to be here? Let's just go keep doing what we're doing, and they did. I loved it. It was a great time, and it was a really impressive performance they had last night, and only good things to come here for this team, because as Stan was mentioning with the future for the Lady Hawks, Lady Jackets, they lose Bomi Ogunlari, the senior, who was a key for this team. She didn't get to play a lot of the season. And the great thing I like about this season was, and one of the things that Coach Ferguson said after the Boyd game, the Boyd match was, we interviewed him after the game, and I said, Bomi did not get to see Boyd those first 2 matches. And he said, no. Boyd did not get to see Bomi. And that's what they were, worried about. And Bomi let him have it. So she's gone. She's a senior. She'll be gone. And then you got Avery Morrill, who was just incredible with her serve. She was the streak master. I mean, it was just, I don't know how many point streaks we had with her serving, with that serve of hers that would just handcuff so many teams all throughout the playoffs. She'll be gone. She was a senior. And then Kim Tolman, also a senior. Great job on the defensive side. So many digs, and got a few aces in there at when she had the opportunities on her serves. But coming back for the Lady Jackets, Avery Reed, a junior, huge part of this team. Mackenzie Johnson, the libero, 5'6" junior, and I'll be a senior next year. Mackenzie leading the team in digs, and just an incredible job. Had 14 digs, I believe, in the matchup against Plano West. And then Kylie Knott will be back as a sophomore. Bomi's sister Faye, who's just incredible to watch, both with the kills and with the blocks. She's a sophomore. She'll be coming back. And then Ava Cortrone had a great match last night, and a number of kills that was really crucial to the Lady Jackets to keep them rolling on a streak or bring them back. So she's back. And then Jaden Dougal, got to mention her and her serves and what she brings to this team. And she's a junior, and she's back. And so, not to mention a lot of these girls that did not get a ton of playing time in the playoffs that will be playing a lot next year. It's just a fun time. And I am going to throw this to you right now. I'm going to put you on the spot. We need to broadcast the Rockwall Heath matches next year in the regular season.
Yeah.
Because that's a great atmosphere.
I love it.
And for Rockwall, at least, and Coach Ferguson talked about this, their rock bottom, their low point of the season was being swept by Boyd in September, just before district starts. And he was wondering, what's this team going to do? How are they going to respond? Well, here they go, and they get the opportunity to go and knock Boyd out of the playoffs later on. They win 12 straight after their loss to Heath. They win 12 straight and end it with this loss eventually to Plano West. But that Heath game was huge for the Lady Jackets, that they knew that they were doing well, but that just, stamped it right there, that this is a team to be dealt with when you play them. No, you can't look past them in the later rounds in the playoffs, and I don't know if Boyd looked past them, but they're paying for it right now. And so it's just a fun team to watch, and I highly encourage if y'all. I wasn't a big volleyball guy until we started calling these games.
Yeah, you had your beach volleyball days, didn't you?
Oh, sure. When I was a pilot with Top Gun, and I would go out on the beach.
In San Marcos?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got some beaches there right on the river. Right on the river. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So just do some flexing and some volleyball, and then I would move on with my day. But then,
some flexing. I like that.
But when
Way to go,
we
Iceman.
started,
Way to go, Iceman.
but when started calling these volleyball games, I am a huge fan. I love it. It's such a great, fast-paced sport. For those of y'all that aren't, get out there next year. It is fun.
The only thing about broadcasting that is we need two things: a sponsor for it, and of course we need to clone you two so y'all can broadcast both, because sometimes it does fall
Football.
on a
Well,
football
we'll get
night.
guys.
So.
We'll get people.
We
But
want-
there's
we want
also,
the A squad on there.
If the Tuesday night,
Yeah,
if it rolls
true.
around Tuesday night, we're there.
Absolutely, and you mentioned a fun fact that Plano West was 3 in the area and 4 in the state. That just shows you that 3 of the top 4 teams are in the DFW area.
Oh, and
that's
Stan
just
mentioned
incredible. Yeah, it's just
Talking about
incredible how.
Prosper and all these teams that oh, great, we won this round of the playoffs. What's our reward? Oh, Plano West or Prosper. Or, it's just incredible what you have to go through for these girls to get even to a regional semi or regional final. And,
Sure.
And so it's really impressive.
Well, great season to both the Lady Hawks and the Lady Jackets. We look forward to next year. Of course, River Hill competed in the UIL cross country this past weekend, 24th. He got his record. He wanted to get top 25. Of course, he does come back next year as well. So
Had a
congratulations.
personal best, I believe. 15,
Yes, personal
21,
best
yeah.
and 24th. So congratulations to him. I know his mom and dad were really excited about that, and River was as too. So congratulations to River as well. Guys, we did have signing day. Let's wrap up our Sportscenter update with that as well. Of course, it's the first early signing day of the season so far. Of course, there's a lot more coming down the there might have been one in October, actually. I take that back. So we're kind of getting in the middle of that right now. So. But this was a big one here in November. So we'll start with Rockwall Heath. What went on? Notable names over at Rockwall Heath. I know a lot of baseball guys were signing on the dotted line today.
11 student athletes signing today. Dakota Britt, baseball, we'll start with that. Dakota Britt's headed to the University of New Mexico. And just a great kid, excellent athlete who has an opportunity to play at the next level. And the theme of all 3 of the seniors who signed today is they want to bring a state championship back to Heath, and there's a lot of pieces in play for that to be a likely possibility for them to make a deep run. Really excited to see what this Hawks baseball team can do through this next season in the spring. Sam Crowell at University of Texas at Arlington to play baseball. Ainsley Jeffrey is headed up to Fayetteville to play soccer at University of Arkansas. Chloe Beese is headed down to University of Texas San Antonio to be a road runner down there. Haley Swanner at Oklahoma Baptist University to play soccer as well. Mackenzie Caulfield is headed to UTSA also. So she and Chloe will be headed there together. For softball, Tristan Court signed with the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. And then for swimming, Darby Ratcliffe, and I think she has a little bit of an inside track, headed to the United States Naval Academy, getting that appointment there to swim. She's going to be swimming and diving at the Naval Academy. Amelia Bird is headed to be a flame out in Virginia at Liberty University. Alea Smith signed Texas A&M for swimming and diving, and she is right now ranked number 3 in the state in the 100-meter breaststroke. So it'll be interesting to see what Alea is able to do going through this season as well. And then finally, the Lady Hawks volleyball, Laurel Knowles, is signed with the number 1 ranked junior college in the country, Navarro College down in Corsicana, and she'll head down there to play JUCO volleyball at the next level. So 11 athletes for the Hawks headed out to play collegiate athletics so far as they look forward to the spring, February, when we'll do this again.
I know Billy has to teach class during the day, so he's not able to get to all the signing days as well.
I'm panicking.
I saw the panic, but you are a Lady Jacket basketball guy, so I do want to mention Emma and Rachel for the Lady Jackets basketball team. Of course, they signed the dotted line today. I don't believe any football players signed today. From
we
what
did
I
have
saw.
some baseball. We had Zach Henry going to UTA. We have Bash Randall going to Abilene Christian. I know a number of other baseball players. We had 7 signed today for baseball. I do want to mention Josie Miller, sand volleyball, going to TCU. She signed. And let me tell you, I'm going to go over to the Hawks side. Laurel Knowles. I've known Laurel since day one, and one of our good friends, daughter and Laurel and my daughter are best friends, and I'm so happy for Laurel.
Yeah.
She is great, and I'm excited for her. And going to Navarro is outstanding, and I know I'm giving her a little bit more pub, but I'm a proud father, dad, whatever you want to call her, friend, dad, whatever you want to call it, with them, because Laurel was over Monday night and. Just talking about
she
it.
was giving props to the Yellow Jackets volleyball last night. Was able to go out to Frisco and watch that game. And
she came out there to watch.
Very, very exciting to see. And I think it's awesome. You've got a couple of kids who are signing to play ball behind kids that left Rockwall last year. Milo Ladisau is at ACU playing baseball. Just neat to see the connection. Zach Henry. Will be with Sam Crowell at UTA. So just some neat connections there representing Rockwall at the next level.
I saw Will Horn going to Sam Houston State as well for golf. So congratulations to him as well. There's a few that are trickling in that we're seeing. So if we don't get to mention them all, we'll definitely put that out there on Twitter as well.
And we'll do it on our broadcast.
Sure.
We'll mention all of them once I get that list. But
Coach Younger emailed me the list and the bio.
I got a list and a picture from Coach Younger. So
I'm teaching
She's
Jacket TV. I'm trying to make all the kids better.
But you do such a great job. I mean, Braden has had an incredible year. I mean, I'm fully convinced. I'm fully convinced. I want to see you hold the Bi-District Crown Trophy up.
Yes.
I need to see your face in the middle of that.
I will leave Rayco to do the post-game show, and I'm going to go down the field.
He's very capable.
Right.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
He's very capable.
I will go down there, and I will help Coach Webb. We'll both raise it.
Take one for the team.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think I'll go over well. Yeah.
Well, we'll
maybe
see.
You can have like an Arnold Palmer out of the, drinking out of the trophy later on or something.
Yes, we could do that.
Well, we'll get there from there. We'll see what happens this Friday night. Of course, at 7 o'clock, it's Rockwall versus Harker Heights. Unfortunately, unless Stan wants to continue on down the road with us, this will be his final show of the season. So thank you again to Stan for joining us throughout the rest of the season. It's going to be Billy and I the rest of the way as your Rockwall Yellow Jackets are moving on.
6 more weeks?
6 more weeks the rest of the way. I'm planning until
That's what
Christmas.
I'm planning on.
If it's a Thanksgiving show, we will obviously find a location to do that. Obviously, the great Gene Byrne College and Career Academy will be closed, so we probably will not be able to come in there. We'll have right there in Coach Webb's yard.
Tyler Street. Tyler Street broadcast.
We'll do that. We'll bring. We'll have the Webbs out. They got a pit with the fire.
There you go.
We can do the around
have a barbecue, a little fireside chat.
Newman and Molly, the dogs, they'll bug you all night. That'll be fun.
I'll wear my red and black, but I'll be cheering for the Jackets.
Okay. All right, good.
I like the fireside chat idea with Coach Webb. That might be kind of fun.
That would go over well.
That would be a
Blazers.
Yeah. Why not?
Blazers all the way. Blazers and plaid.
Yeah, we can do pipes.
Why not? Of course, don't forget it's this Friday night. It's Rockwall versus Harker Heights Bi-District Championship on the line for your Rockwall Yellow Jackets. Of course, they're looking for their 7th straight Bi-District Championship. A great trophy to have in that case, but looking for a whole lot more. And once again, congratulations to the Rockwall Heath Hawks. Fantastic season, of course, from 3-7 to 5-5. Which means next year it's going to be better than 5-5. So the 2020 campaign is going to be fun. That I-30 Classic is going to be fun. 2 junior quarterbacks next year will go head-to-head at each other. I want to give props to one more. You're going to have one more. I want to give a prop to a Golden Gopher who is now number 8 in the country. Of course, the old QB1, Mr. Clark himself, is now a part of the number 8 ranked Golden Gophers who shocked Penn State this past weekend.
Huge
so congratulations to him, and I know his parents were happy. And
Coach Webb and
Coach Webb,
Jason were
the
there.
Shortest guy in the picture that I saw was Coach Webb himself.
Yes.
Usually he's a tower kind of guy, but that picture he was
always
with a lot of height.
Short arms, though. You ever notice his arms are very T-Rex
just like that, yeah. But congratulations to Clark as well. Great for that family, the Clark family. That's awesome. And it's going to be his day here pretty soon to lead that.
Yes.
And maybe they sneak up into the Final Four. You never know.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. They're 8 now, and there's still a month to go.
I've never rooted for a Big Ten team in my life, but I'm a huge Minnesota Gopher fan.
When you know you're rooting for a Golden Gopher, you're living right. So
I love it.
But yeah, congratulations to him as well. Final thoughts?
I wanted to say, we always talk about this. We'll go back one more time. Let's reverse the what's going on here. When Rockwall was struggling and Heath was doing well, I remember going to a number of Heath playoff games. Rockwall wasn't getting in the playoffs. Heath was going. I remember it being a real cold night, and Wiley watching them take on Frisco Liberty and things like that. So I encourage all those Hawks out there to come and support the Yellow Jackets. And it was great to hear about Laurel and her crew coming out and supporting the Lady Jackets, and the Yellow Jackets do it also. We love going and supporting those Hawks when they're in the playoffs and we're not, or not even playing that night and they are, whatever. It's good to support each other, and so we know that the Yellow Jacket fans will be packing the Wilk, but we want to see some Hawk fans out there too. That'd be great to have their support also.
We'll definitely be supporting the Yellow Jacket long run. I saw it again today. Dave Campbell's has got him picked against Duncanville.
I know, in the semis, yeah.
That's going to be a great game. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. But we're not looking ahead, though.
No, not at all. You got 5
yeah.
more games before we're there. 4 more games before we're there.
Right, right.
But it's awesome to see a team that's peaking right when they are, and to be going into the bi-district round. And one of the things notice you didn't really mention, but Harker Heights coming out of an 8 or a 9-team district down there. It's an interesting district, and it'll be interesting to see. But looks like
they don't get many bi-district, or I'm sorry, non-district games.
They don't only one. So
right.
they schedule 10 and play the other, or I guess 2. They get 2 non-district games to play 8 district games. But when you've got teams and all their wins are district wins, they lose their non-conference or non-district games, and then they got to win 6, 7 games to get in the playoffs to do that. One other thing to note, I couldn't get it to pull up earlier, but we're putting together a Heath Hawk football record book that we can't find one, and I don't know if one's ever been kept or if it was demolished or what, but I spent quite a bit of time over the last couple of weeks, Dallas News, Max Preps, some of the other district stats, but this 2019 team, the best passing yards per game and the best total offense per game for Heath in school history. And we've got a little ways to go before we catch up with that 74 touchdown season with a man by the name of Kendall Lawrence back in 2008. But a very excellent season statistically for the Hawks, and 2 new school records: longest pass and reception on that 98-yard Josh Hoover, Jaden Jones connection for the touchdown against Keller Timber Creek. But it was fun kind of looking back over the years and seeing some of the records and things like that. And 2,686 yards for Kendall Lawrence and 43 touchdowns in one season.
One of the best.
I remember that season.
It'll be
very
fun to see what happens. And but it was neat just to see how this team, even amidst a 5-5 record, setting some records and setting the benchmark really, really high for teams to come.
And I'm glad you're doing that, because I know Rockwall, we still need to get. We've been playing for 100 years, and it is hard to get a lot. Anytime, and I know Coach Webb's working really hard, and he's grabbing a lot of numbers now and trying to put it all together.
Yeah.
So great idea to do it now. 12 years now, I believe.
Yeah,
for
12 varsity years. Yep.
And so do it now, and because right now there's so many times that we'll have some great moment. And you're like, is that the record? I don't know. I mean, and the people that are alive can go back maybe to the 50s, whatever. But before then, we're, I don't know.
The longest offensive plays in school history have happened in the last 2 seasons. Tyler Lee last year, Tavin Paxton had the 99-yard QB sneak for a touchdown. Longest longest rush, longest pass, of course, Hoover and Jones this year. But it's neat to see these kids. You're able to kind of let them know, hey,
this is the record.
You're going into Heath Hawk folklore here,
right.
And we'll be able to trace it. And so, thanks to Sprad and Coach McNeil for hooking me up with a couple of, stat sheets and things that we needed to get everything. The only thing I'm missing so far, I can't find 2006, the first varsity year. Of course, we did go 2-8 that year.
Right.
It was a rough year.
We're just going to wipe that under the rug.
Pretty sure you may not have any, at least season
records.
So I did go back and look. They scored their first 2 wins of the season. Their only 2 wins of the season. 76-0 and 42-0.
Okay.
The rest of the season, they scored 31 points in 8 games. So it's a little bit tough. An 8-game losing streak to finish that one out, but we're going to go get the stats on that one so that we have the complete book, and hopefully be able to keep this going as long as I'm the voice of the Hawks, and then be able to pass it on later on.
You'll be there forever.
Of course, the Sproutlins look at those numbers for 2019. You're scratching your head, going 5-5. Really,
right.
That's where we got. But
you're 15 points from being 7-3.
That's the frustrating part if you're a Hawk fan, and of course, the frustrating part If you're a Rockwall fan, well, you're not frustrated right now. You're living the dream right now.
Frustrated because we haven't played.
We haven't played in 2 weeks, and it's going to be cold on Friday. That's the only thing. Yeah, everyone's complaining about the cold, but of course it's going to be cold. So bundle up, get out there, cheer on your Rockwall Yellow Jackets. They're taking on Harker Heights in round one. Of course, we'll let you know if round two is going to happen. But if your Rockwall Yellow Jackets are part of it, we'll let you know where, when, what, how, and all the above. But we do know this guy will be there. So basketball right around the corner. Of course, that's what we're looking for over at Rockwall Heath. Of course, both have already started playing right now. So lots of excitement building in the gyms. Of course, get out there, support our teams. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks ahead, of course. But for Stan Britton, this is going to be it for the 2019 season.
We'll have one basketball broadcast.
Well, Stan will still be around, of course, but Stan will be. He's not leaving. He's not. No, he'll be back. But for football, this will be it for Stan. Of course, we'll see him back here next year for the Rockwall Sportscenter show. Of course, thank you again to Rockwall Sportscenter each and every week for sponsoring the show up until the last snap of the football season. So we greatly appreciate Hooks family for all they do for us, getting our gear and everything, and being a proud sponsor of T-shirts and all sorts of stuff. So thank you again to them. So any final thoughts as far as this week goes? Playoffs, basketball getting going over at Rockwall Heath.
One thing I do want to mention is we had a blast on Saturday with the Yellow Jacket Baseball Alumni Game. That was a blast. And
Tally controlled himself, which was good.
He did well.
Okay, I was proud of him.
Yeah. He forgot his phone. Had to send Beth back to go get his phone. Once he got there, she was getting ready to go in and get her nails done. Had a whole day planned. And he made her go back.
How do you not love that woman? Yeah. She's got to put up with him.
Oh, my goodness. And so, but he goes, I forget my phone when I'm really excited about something. And he was excited, rightly so.
Oh, he was Facebooking and tweeting, and he was all over the place.
He didn't even know what Facebook is, but he was doing it. And,
he was on it.
But no, we had a ball. Listen to, if you want to, go back to the archive. It's not your regular baseball broadcast. It's just a bunch of guys just pushing each other and yucking it up.
I think Coach Rose wants to put that out there so people can hear that. That's awesome.
Yes, because a great job by Coach Rose and Coach Tyler to get this together. Had a ball with Coach Payne. Coach Payne showed up, hung out with us for a while, and he talked some old days and things that were going on and what he's doing now and how much he appreciates everything that he was involved with here. And he's going to be a part of it moving forward. But just a great time. And it was a good crowd. It was a little cold, but it was a really good crowd. I think we ended up having 20, maybe 21, 22 former Yellow Jackets come in. And so they had the two teams that played against each other. You had the white and the orange team going against each other. And the score didn't matter. They just had a blast coming in there and playing against each other.
Did Tally swing the bat and or throw the ball?
I don't think so. Okay. Now, we got to get Ron Merritt in there. Ron came over and was hanging out with us in the booth. He would have been the oldest. He graduated in 81. But we didn't get him on the field. But we said we could at least have an old Yellow Jacket next one, And so we got to get him out there and doing that. But it was a really good time had by all. For those, it's a year away. If you want to be a sponsor of it, we really want to thank Soulman's and Better Built Fence and Joe Wimpy Agency for sponsoring this one, because without them we couldn't have the broadcast. And it was just really fun to see some old faces that we had. You forget, and you have this too, when you do these sports, especially baseball. There's something about baseball in that press box. You have football press box, but there's a lot of people, and you have these connections with a lot of people. But in baseball, it's that little press box. And you get these parents that are involved. They're doing the scoreboard. They're bringing food. They're doing stuff. And then you lose them once the kid graduates. Once their son graduates, you don't really see them as much.
Sure.
But to have all them back, and I'm still mad at Lisa Wimpy for not bringing cookies. She's supposed to bring food. She didn't bring food this time. It's the alumni game. What's she doing?
You got to have food.
Yeah.
On a Saturday. Come on.
So anyway, but thank you to all those guys that showed up and played and that were just, it was just really fun. So I do want to bring that up.
And baseball season's fast approaching, and a real quick touch on that. This year could be the year and that one of these teams bring home a state champ. There's a lot of buzz talking to both coaches already about this upcoming season. I know every year we say, okay, baseball is going to be good. Of course they're going to be good, but this is a season that could be very special. And we're going to hit a milestone for one of our coaches this year. Of course, there was some rumor that we might be hitting 500, but Harvey shot that down real quick.
He did.
Said if we have a good season, I'm going to hit 400 this year. So that's going to be good for Harvey.
He is 31 wins away.
31, yep.
369
Which
right
is
now.
Very doable.
It is very doable. This team usually hits the 40 mark.
Yep.
If we're able to get early playoffs, maybe mid round playoffs, he's going to get 40 wins this year. So there's a very good possibility late in the season, early to mid-May that we're going to be putting up 400 for Coach Harvey. And what's really crazy to think is he celebrated 300 3 seasons ago.
Not even 3, wasn't it?
Not even 3 seasons ago.
I feel like it was 2.
Yeah, it was early. Yeah. Early 2017 and so, or excuse me, 2018, and so just a phenomenal program that he has going there. He's been there the whole time, the only varsity head coach that Heath has ever known, and has done an incredible job with that program. 7 returning starters this year, and on a team that did well. Lost to a very, very good McKinney Boyd team that went to the state tournament. And they want to right that ship and get down to Austin and bring home a state championship, and looking to hang another banner next to that 2012 4A state championship.
I think both these teams have great potential to be in Round Rock here in early June.
I agree. And you look at the Jackets. You had a team that was supposed to be rebuilding. You got a first-year coach. And they go 4 rounds deep, and they take out Prosper, who and then. Eventually it was the Cy Ranch, but same thing. It's just like I can't imagine what's going to happen now.
Of course, Coach Rose isn't your everyday hire.
No, he's not.
It was a phenomenal hire.
Yeah, it was. And this guy knows where to put the players and what
he's
to do.
He's one of those baseball nerds.
Yes,
he and Harvey both are those. They live, breathe, and eat baseball.
Yeah, they do. And these games that they're going to play against each other are just going to be phenomenal every year. The two, that they play. And I do want to have that one day they face each other in the playoffs. I want that. That's going to be a fun. I can't imagine the nuttiness going around this community.
Because it's probably going to be a home and home, and maybe a coin flip for the other. I mean, you never know.
So anyway, same thing with the Jackets and the talent that they have coming up and the kids returning and what Coach Rose does with these kids. I love his style of baseball, and it's just an overall team effort. Everybody's bunting. I don't care if you're a cleanup hitter and you got 30 home runs. You're bunting here if we need you to bunt, it's just and you're running the bases. We're gonna be sending you around the bases. You're not going to stand still for too long. So I'm excited about that. But you're right, basketball. Both teams have opportunities to do some great things in basketball. They're both playing in tournaments right now and getting primed and ready to go for the regular season. And excited about that also with Coach Williams and Coach Waters, 2 great coaches here for the boys. And then, and the girls' team's always going to be impressive too.
Absolutely. We'll release that basketball broadcast schedule next week for you guys to have out there. So
it'll be good to know.
We're broadcasting basketball at some point.
Yeah, Chris,
they know they are.
Tell us where we're going.
They'll just go and they'll bring it to you every single night that we have broadcasts. If you want to have more sponsors, we can get you out there every night. So we got to get that going.
We'll do it.
We got to have people out there. So
we'll do it.
Come support your local kids. They are amazing. They are phenomenal athletes. Once again, thanks to Stan, Michael, and Shannon for all season long bringing you Heath Hawk football, of course. Stan will be back for basketball. Of course, we'll have Ken Taylor bring you baseball here in the spring. And, of course, Billy Quinn, David Sweet will be with you for basketball later on. Lady Jacket basketball and Rockwall basketball as well, of course. But their job is far from over right now. They are still working every Friday night. Potentially Saturdays on down the road for
hopefully
till Christmas.
Working 6 days a week.
I used to do that anyway, so why not?
So they are not done yet. So we keep going. So don't forget if you want to listen to Billy and his crew this Friday night. Remember, it's a 7:00 kickoff. Go to www.rockwallisd.com, and if you want to find tickets to that game. Rockwall High School Athletic Office, RISD Athletic Office, which is located right across from Utley Middle School. And, of course, you can also purchase tickets at the door for $10. No credit cards. Bring that cash money.
It's like going to Camp Easy's.
It's just like going to Camp Easy's.
You got to bring cash.
You have to go to Camp Easy's. Exactly. You have to do that. So cash only, no credit cards. Get through that gate quick and be there for that early kickoff at 7:00. It's going to be a fun night, cold night. Hopefully, Rockwall will bring home that bi-district championship. And next week, we're talking area football.
We're going to see if we can get Sweets Mike to work again.
Okay.
And I do want to thank.
We need to bundle them up.
Fran Webb, just killing it as a volleyball analyst, and I just want to say how much fun it is.
And she knows she eats, drinks, and sleeps volleyball. She knows her volleyball.
Yeah, she knows. She just educates me as we go along, and so because I'm just this newbie and finding my way through it, and so with her and Coach Ferguson helping me out. It has been.
This is your 3rd or 4th year of volleyball.
It'll be 3rd year of volleyball.
So now you can't play the newbie card next year. You
got to get us more games.
Now you're a prime veteran. Now
we get the sponsors and get more games, and I'll be a lot more experienced.
Now you're gonna be a prime veteran.
Stan kills it too. I'm just sitting there finding my way.
That's your off season.
Learning as we go.
That's your off season goal is to watch some Olympics this year. Watch some Olympic volleyball.
Sure. Yeah.
Get your
volleyball term dictionary over here. Like, oh, that's one of those.
That's what that means.
Fran helps me out with that because I'll say something over and she goes, "You can also say this." I'm like, "I'm in. Let's go.
Got it.
Let's do it."
So once again, thank you again to Stan, and don't forget this Friday night, it's www.rockwallisd.com. Check out Billy and the crew, and of course Yellow Jackets looking to go for their 7th straight by-district championship. Once again, thanks to James behind the camera for helping us out each and every week, and of course, big thanks to Rockwall Sportscenter for sponsoring our show every single week. We'll be back here next week from the Dr. Gene Burton College and Career Academy. It'll just be me and Billy. And we'll see you next week. And as always, I mean, you can join us if you. We're not kicking you out, but
sounds like
you could be a special analyst if you would prefer to come out here.
Just bring your papers so we can know, so we can let you in.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
I got my TB test. I got
but y'all are more than welcome. We'd love to have you join us in the booth at some point.
Might have an outside voice talking about the Rockwall Yellow Jackets. That'll be we're better together. So that's all that matters.
Right.
It's good. So absolutely. And don't forget, you can always visit us at rockwallisd.com to listen to every single game. And as always, don't forget,
Jacket fight never dies.
Go Heathhawks.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.